Okay, so today we're going deep on some seriously mind-bending ideas from the philosopher Immanuel Kant, and we're using this awesome video as a jumping-off point.
Yeah.
It's from the Let's Rock That Wisdom YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it's called Mind-Blowing Truths About Reality That Most People Still Don't Get Kant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of people hear philosophy and they're like, okay, that's great, but like, what does that have to do with me?
Right.
You know, like, what does some guy from the 1700s have to offer me now in the 21st century?
Right. Right. Totally. Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're trying to get, you know, like, how can we take these big ideas from Kant and make them relevant to your life, like right now, like today, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's what's so cool about Kant, too, is that, you know, he never even left his hometown.
It's wild, right?
But his ideas, like, totally revolutionize how we think about, like, reality itself, you know?
Yeah.
Really changed the game.
Yeah. Huge. Yeah. And the video we're looking at does a really good job, I think, of boiling it down to like these 4 core ideas.
Yeah.
Like game-changing truths, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to kind of break down each of those and show you why they're not just some like abstract, you know, heady concepts, but actually like tools you can use.
Exactly.
You know?
Totally.
So are you ready to dive in?
I am. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So the first one, right out of the gate, is this idea that how we experience reality, it's not like a direct recording. It's actually filtered through how our minds work.
Yeah.
And they use this analogy of the mind being like a movie editor.
Right. I love that analogy.
It's so good, right?
Yeah.
So think about it, like all this sensory information coming at you all the time, right?
Yeah.
Sights and sounds and smells and all that. Kant's saying your mind isn't just passively taking it all in.
No.
It's like actively choosing what to focus on, organizing it, interpreting it, creating this like final cut of reality.
Yeah, it's your brain's way of making sense of this like crazy jumble of information.
Right.
Like it's imposing order on chaos.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so what you experience isn't necessarily like the objective truth. It's like your brain's version of it.
Yeah, it's like you're always watching a movie that your mind is like making.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes. And they bring this down to earth with a really relatable example.
Yeah.
Right? Like imagine you're going through a bad breakup.
Okay.
You're in pain. You're replaying every moment, you know, thinking it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Kant would say that intense emotional experience, it's not just because of the breakup itself.
Right.
It's also because of how your mind is interpreting it.
It's adding its own spin.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's focusing on certain details or like exaggerating things or like playing the saddest music it can find.
Right. It's like your internal movie editor is going for the Oscar for like best tragedy, you know.
Yes.
So the takeaway here, right, for you listening is like next time you're in a really intense emotional situation, try to take a step back and ask yourself, okay, how much of this is the actual situation and how much is my mind, you know, kind of adding to it?
Right. Could you be catastrophizing, you know?
Yeah.
Blowing things out of proportion.
And that's so powerful because it creates this space, right? Between like the thing that's happening and your immediate reaction.
Yeah, it gives you room to breathe.
Yes, exactly. And that leads us to the second big idea, which is that our minds don't just interpret reality.
Yeah.
They actually help shape it.
Okay. Yeah.
The video compares this to Copernicus, who, you know, realized that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe.
Right.
Kant's doing something similar. He's saying it's not just about the external world imposing itself on us.
Yeah.
Our minds are actually playing a role in how we experience it.
But we're not just passive observers.
Exactly.
We're actively involved.
Yes. And he says our minds aren't just like blank slates, you know, just absorbing information. They actually have these ways of organizing information.
Built-in structures. Yeah.
Yeah. Like think about time and space.
Okay.
Kant says those aren't just properties of the world out there.
Right.
They're actually frameworks that our minds use.
To make sense of things.
To make sense of it. Yeah. It's like our minds have these grids, you know, of time and space that we kind of filter everything.
Right. Yeah. So like the way you experience events happening in a certain order.
Yeah.
Or like the way you understand where things are in relation to each other.
Yeah.
It's not just like a given.
Right.
It's your mind organizing it that way.
Exactly. And this is so empowering because once you realize this, you can start to be more aware of the narrative that your mind is creating.
It's like you're directing the movie a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not to say that we can just like manifest any reality we want. Right. There's still, the external world, there's still input.
Yeah.
But it's about how we interpret and organize that input.
Right. That's where the power lies.
That's where the power is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that breakup example.
Okay.
Your mind might be telling you, like, I'm not good enough.
Right.
I'll never find anyone else. But Kant would say your mind isn't just recording on the situation.
Right.
It's actively constructing that narrative.
Yeah. You're writing the script.
You're writing the script.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting because if you're the screenwriter, you can change the script.
Right. Exactly.
And you can challenge those like negative stories.
Those limiting beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe instead of I'm unlovable, it becomes, okay, this relationship didn't work out.
Right.
But I learned from it and I'm open to new possibilities.
Yeah. You're reframing it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've talked about how our minds filter and shape, but now let's get into how we act within that reality.
Okay, yeah.
And this is where Kant's idea of universalizability.
Okay, so this is getting into the ethics of it all.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So Kant has this famous principle, and I'm going to quote it here. It's act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law.
Woof, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, break that down for me.
Basically, it's saying, think about the rule behind your action.
Okay.
And would you want everyone to follow that rule all the time?
Okay, so like think about the consequences if everyone did that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the video gives this example.
Yeah.
You're post-breakup.
Uh-huh.
You're tempted to like badmouth your ex.
Sure, yeah.
Spread some rumors.
Right.
Kant would say, okay,
yeah,
would you want to live in a world where everyone did that?
Yeah.
When they were hurt?
Right, where that was just like the norm?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. I see where he's going with this.
Oh, right. And that's the level of responsibility he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like every choice we make, even the seemingly small ones, it's like a vote.
For the kind of world you want.
For the kind of world you want to live in, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Right. So it's not just about how you see the world. It's about how you act.
And how your actions affect others.
And how your actions affect others, yeah. So it's connecting that internal world to the external world we share.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
All right. So the fourth and final mind-blowing truth is this idea of freedom.
Freedom.
Within a possibly deterministic verse.
Okay, so like free will versus determinism.
Exactly, that age-old question.
Right.
And Kant has this really intake on.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So he says, in the world as we experience it, that filtered, shaped reality we've been talking about, we do have free will.
Right.
Like, we feel like we're making choices.
Right.
And we are.
Yeah.
But he also says there might be this deeper level of reality, like a behind-the-scenes level, that we can't access directly, where things might actually be predetermined. The video uses this analogy.
Yeah.
Imagine you're at a restaurant.
Okay.
And the menu looks huge.
Right.
Tons of choices.
Yeah.
But then you realize it's all just variations on like 3 ingredients.
Oh, I see.
So there are these underlying constraints.
Right.
But within our experience,
Yeah.
we still have the freedom to choose.
Okay, so it's like we have freedom, but within limits.
Exactly.
Okay.
So back to the break.
Right.
You might not have had control over the breakup itself.
Right.
But you do have control over how you respond.
Okay.
You can choose to wallow in misery.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to move on.
Right.
And that's where the power lies.
It's about your attitude.
Yeah.
Your choices.
Your choices, yeah.
Yeah.
So even when things feel outside our control, our internal response, our choices moving forward, that's where our freedom is.
That's where the power is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's recap those 4 key insights from Kant.
Okay, let's do it.
Number 1, your experience of reality is filtered and interpreted by your mind.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, your mind actively shapes that reality.
Number 3.
Your actions should be guided by the principle of universalizability.
Okay, so thinking about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And number 4.
Number 4, you have freedom of choice within your experience.
Even if there's like a deeper level of determinism.
Even if,
Okay.
And what's so cool about all this is it's not just theoretical.
Right.
It's like actual tools we can use.
To navigate life.
Yeah. It's a way of understanding ourselves and the world in a way that can help us make better choices.
Totally.
So here's the question I'll leave you with.
Okay.
Now that you know all this, now that you know that your mind is shaping your reality, and that your actions have this ripple effect, and that you have this freedom to choose, what are you going to do with that?
What are you going to create?
What is it going to create? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you have this blank canvas. What are you going to paint?
What are you going to paint? Yeah. That's deep.
It is deep.
That's Kant for you.
That's Kant for you.
All right, well, that's our deep dive on Kant.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I hope you found it helpful.
I did.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you later.